Greetings, everyone. Today, we're going to talk about the red flags to look out for when you're in a long distance relationship. But some of these can go for a relationship where you're in the same city or you live very close by. But it's a topic I'm doing because so many times people hit me up, asking me about how I met my partner. And in time past, I said, okay, I'm not talking about this anymore. But so many people ask some questions, and sometimes I just laugh and shake my head. Now, I had no idea that, people around the world love the Jamaican sugar stick so much. And I didn't know that there's so many men, who are fascinated with the black woman's vanilla, So I decided I'm going to do this. Now I could go on forever. I could do more than the 15. I have 15. But because I'm extreme Becky, so what did I say, Becky? Mm-mm. That name is for some other people. Anyway, I'm extreme. And so I just can't stop at 10. But if you want more, I'll give you more. Okay? All right. I'm going to start with number one. First red flag to look out for in a long distance relationship. And as I said, it could be related to a relationship that is, building or growing in close proximity. But for long distance, number one, your partner never shows his or her emotion when you're around each other. When I say emotion, I'm talking about extreme cases. So they never get angry. They're so calm, so mellow, so sweet, so gentle. Oh, my boo is just perfect. And in the real world, nobody's perfect. But this partner is just perfect. They never get angry, Or, see, here's one of those polar opposite. Or they get from 1 to 100, that from 1 being super, super sweet to 100 being very angry because you tried to resolve a conflict, to have a conversation about it, and they move from 1 to 100 real quick. So on one hand, they don't show any emotion. They don't, they never get upset. They never want to talk about anything because they're in love and they don't want to fight. Or the other, they're always fighting because somehow they have some deficiency in talking out whatever conflicts or disagreements you have. One. So number two, defensiveness comes in then. You can't ask a question without starting World War or getting the silent treatment. So it's kind of piggyback from the top one. So you ask a question, and instead of getting an answer, a straight answer, before you know it, that question is averted, or that person ignores that or avoids that question and try to pick on some other situation so that they can distract you from that. Red flag. Number three, your boo has periods when they can't be found. So certain times, and again, this can be true for any other relationship, but I think particularly long distance relationship, you have moments when you can't hear from this individual, and when you hear from him or her, the excuses are lame. We're gonna come back to this one. So B, I'll give you a B version of that. B, they would call you 24/7, but if they can't find you, it's going to be on and popping. So they'll disappear at time, but when they're ready for you and when they're calling you, if you talk 24/7, one time they call you and they miss you, it's going to be a big problem. Number four, big red flag. The person always has crisis that demands money. For example, mama dead, papa blind, granny lost her teeth, and uncle just boxing them back and forth every day. And it's suddenly your problem. Now I'm looking at my sheet here because I had to think about it and write them down so I don't miss the ones that I think are very important. So all of a sudden, since the person met you, they can't live without you. You wonder, how did you survive without me? All of these crises, and oh, you're so much in love. He or she is so beautiful, so wonderful. You don't really think anything negative because you think this person was brought in your life by God. It's your soulmate, and you just want to do good by him or her because they have had some bad experiences in their life and you want to be the one to save them. Big red flag. Everybody's life story becomes your solution. Number 5, since you met, they just, another piggyback, they just can't live without you. And after a disagreement, sometimes they talk about, that they would die, that they would harm themselves, or if they don't do that, here's a polar opposite. They start making threats. They're threatening your life. If you ever try to leave me, even sometimes in joke, never take it for a joke when someone says, I'll kill myself if you leave me, or I'll kill you if you leave me. Not good. A huge red flag, in my opinion. Number 6, pressure to get married quickly. Oh, from the moment I saw you, babes, I knew you were the one. I saw you in my dreams. I have to have you. You're mine. God told me so. Or the opposite of that is that, I want to marry you, babe. So let's say you're the one pressuring him or her to get married. You really want to, because you see, with long distance relationship, people tend to get married very early because it's the only way they'll get a chance to get together. They don't realize it's not really because you're in love. It's because you really want to get to know the person. But because it's a long distance relationship, marriage seems to be the biggest, the fastest option to get this thing going, to get you together. The only way I can be with you from Africa or from Jamaica or from Venezuela or for wherever you are in the world, the only way we can get to be together to cement this relationship or to grow in this so-called love that we found is to really come together and what the person who is away, the foreigner, because you see, it's never really the person who is in Venezuela or in Jamaica or in Africa that's getting you to come and encouraging you to come and get to build and know each other. It's usually the other way around. The foreigner is the one who's getting married to hurry up, to speed up this thing so you can get to know each other. You're getting married so you can get to know each other. Very scary. So, on one hand, they're pressuring you to get married quickly, or on the other hand, you want to get married quickly, but the person is saying, well, I can't marry you right now because I was legally married and I don't know where to find my ex, or I don't have the money. So of course, you as a foreigner, you want to make this happen. You're going to give them the money to get this divorce, and it's going to be costly. And it's going to be a long period. And the more money you send, the lawyer wants more money. The lawyer said if you give this amount of money, you can expedite the case. You can speed it up. And the more money you send, the further you are from this person getting this divorce. 7, you suddenly have become popular with his friends and family. So, for example, you sometimes get these random calls, when you're not in the area where your loved one is, in that long distance place where you met. When you're not there, and you return to wherever you live or come from, you start getting these random calls from people you don't know with a bunch of problems. And the thing about it is you never gave these people your phone number. You never met any of these individuals. In fact, it's very disrespectful that someone would give your phone number to someone you don't know without even asking your permission. But because you're in love, you feel so good because girls, let's face it, we like it when we get involved with a man and his family loves us. Oh, so wonderful. You're already the wife or you're already the husband. And suddenly these guys have a way of making you feel like you're very important, that they love you world without end. So you start getting these phone calls. Yeah, you're the favorite person now and you love the attention. I think this is an extension of that. Prior to meeting you, there's no evidence of business interests. And so you're going to hear these business ideas from either friends or family or from your boo. You understand? They're just killing you with their business ideas and proposal. And you're thinking to yourself, wow, if you've had all these ideas all these years, how come you've never acted upon it? But now, you're the financier and you're going to finance it. You're going to get a business up and going. And because you're building this relationship and you're in fantasy land and you're thinking, yeah, when I'm not here and wherever country you are and I go home, I want to have money waiting for me because they always give you a good game. I'm going to open this business, honey. And, you start to think he's very considerate because I'm the only one spending. And now that I go home, when I have this business venture and help him get it up off the ground, when I go, I don't have to worry about spending and I can go here and there and, the rest. Number 8, unexplained absences measured with ear-head explanations. Unexplained absences measured with ear-head explanations. So, for example, if Persephone got lost, but they're calling you back with the same number. Sometimes people don't even realize that the person lost their phone. I don't know how they lost the phone. I managed to keep the SIM card, but that, is just miracle workers. They make it happen because when you love somebody, when you're so much in love, you can do these things. You can lose your phone and still, have the same number. I guess you could call the phone company and ask for that same number back. I don't know. The person is often surrounded by a lot of people when he or she calls, but you always hear them tell you, oh, I miss you so much, babe. I miss you, honey. I'm so lonely. But they always have a bunch of people around, whether it be relatives or not. I mean, how can you be so lonely if you got a bunch of people with you all the time? And what were you doing before you met this person? Big red flag, And even when you go to visit, you never get to spend too much quality time alone. There's always people around. So you decide you want to go for a romantic, weekend somewhere. You've worked really hard in whichever country you live and you save your money and you're going to see your boo. And when you go, before you know it, you're paying for Susie and Annette and, the boy Jojo next door. Number 9 is poor, but always remind you about his or her rich family and friends. Because to me, this is a way of, making you feel like, listen, don't bother believe that you're the most special person in my life. I got these connections over here. So just know that and feel blessed that you know me. Because I got it going. I got some rich people. I got some rich friends. I really don't really need you. Number 10, does not like foreign. And I guess that's a piggyback from the previous one. They don't like foreign. They would only go there for you, just to build your love. And they know that when you're not with them, you're not happy, you're sad, and they don't like to see you sad. So, I don't really like the foreign thing, I don't want the foreign thing, but, I'll go there just for you. Watch this one quick and fast. Watch this one carefully. The ones that don't really want to go to foreign, they don't really care for that. They just love Jamaica. They just love Ghana. They just love wherever they come from. They don't want to leave it. They never suggest that you move back. As soon as them 1 year reach, them cut. Number 11, they have eye taste. They've been on the fashion runway all their life. That's the impression you're going to get. They don't have any job. They don't have any education, but the taste turn up. So they can name all the high fashion that he and she wants. And they make it very clear that they don't wear idiot clothes. They don't want this or they don't want that. Just the best. They don't got no work. And they're not looking for no work. 12. When you meet up, you find that all the expenses are on you. The person never suggests that you do something chill. Just get together and just go to the beach and sit down and talk. Or just go up in the hills and just relax. Or just cook some, food outside. Whatever the situation is. Because even if they're poor, you can still go there and have fun. You can, Jamaica is a place where you don't always have to have money to have fun. There's a lot of attractions that you can go and just chill with the person. But this person always have your trip booked out, and it's about the high life. They never suggest one time that you come to visit and just take a cab from the airport. No, you gotta rent something. You gotta do the rental, and you have to go here and there, and no chill, inconsiderate, selfish, and assuming that once you live in foreign, you got it like that, and you gotta blame yourself too, because you people who are interested in these long distance relationships, I'm saying, if you love each other, and people can find love wherever, you can find love in every part of the world. You don't be defined by boundaries, but also use your common sense. And if every time if it's about building and loving and growing together, it doesn't have to always involve money. So I want to say that because a person never suggests, something that doesn't demand money, you got to be always out and glam. A person will not build with you. A person is superficial and is very selfish. Number 13, big, super, super, super red flag. If you have started the sponsorship program process, and he or she pressures you about why John or Susan get through already, or they get through so quick, but yours is lagging. He or she only talks about migrating more than getting to know you. So as you're going through the process, so you've already got to the point, you can't even worry about these red flags no more, because you're done married and you have to try to make this thing work out. But this person, every time you speak to them, you just start the process, and it takes a while, sometimes a year, sometimes 18 months. Some people are fortunate and it comes through in 3 months. And if you people want me to talk about the immigration sponsorship process and what is to be expected and what to do to make sure that everything goes smoothly, then you can hit me up in this video under the comment section to tell me how to get started, and I'll help you. But the person, as I said earlier, is always talking more about the process more than about what's going on with you. Big red flag. Number 14, when you bring a token, if it's not high-end stuff, it gets tossed. So, maybe you spend $50 on it, but $50 is like $500 to you. And when you give it to the person, you notice they take, oh, thank you. But it ends up on the chair, or it ends up into a wash pan underneath the bed, or it ends up as nightgown, or sleepwear, or bush clothes. Person doesn't really appreciate it. And chances are the person is in it for the wrong reason. Number 15, another big red, I call this one. They want you all to themselves when you go to visit, and that is so beautiful. Oh, my babes, my bae just love me so much. He can't have enough of me. And of course, you have distance between you. So when you get there, in your mind, you want to spend all the quality time together. But this individual want to keep you to him or herself. They don't want you to talk to the neighbor. They don't want to talk to the family member, the cousin. So on one hand, some people just want everybody to be in your face. And then on another hand, this one doesn't want you to talk to anybody. Because they'll tell you, if you talk to that neighbor or talk to this one, they'll obey you, they'll poison you, they'll beg you something. They're just trying to protect you. No, they're not. They have secrets, and they're afraid that if you spend time around these individuals, you'll find out them secrets. They'll tell you what's going on. That's a big one. Sometimes when they do introduce you to the people and say, hey, this is my friend, and if it's a woman, she introduces you to a guy friend, there's a chance. I'm not saying always, but she introduces you to a guy, there's a possibility that they're just more than friends. These love stories are awesome. When you listen to the stories, as I said before, I've had experience working with people going through the sponsorship program, and I've heard the stories, and I've had my own experiences, and I'm not saying that, oh yeah, my partner is just wonderful and perfect, but the circumstance under which we met is much different from a lot of people who are getting in long distance relationships. And the period between meeting and my husband migrating to this country has been a very long and tedious process, and one that we both sat down and discussed and didn't allow anyone else to tell us how it should be. But nothing is worse than finding your bae, the love of your life. You're just dripping from, serotonin. You're just so happy. And when you finally complete the process, and the process of sponsorship itself is so stressful. And when you finish that process and you have your babe join you, and you wake up in the morning and you see him or her in your bed, and you just can't believe, you're pinching yourself to say, is this real? I just can't believe you're here. Only to find out that what you thought was love was just opportunity for somebody. When you thought you were a priority, you find out that, you were only an option. Stay blessed, everyone.